D&D Skills. For a game like Dungeons & Dragons, one of the most intimidating parts of a character sheet can often be the list of skills given. For example, on a standard character sheet like this one given at the end of the player's handbook, as you can see, this whole list of skills is the highest density of words that exist on the whole page. So it can be a lot to look at first, especially for somebody trying to get into the game and being introduced to it for the first time. But it's really not that bad once you know what you're looking at. So let me help try to break this down for you. Every skill in the game of Dungeons and Dragons represents your character's ability to perform some action, like intimidation or persuasion. Something like a feat of acrobatics or agility, something like that. And each of these skills relates to one of your 6 main attributes that help kind of define the capabilities of your character, which are strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Each class plays into each of these attributes in a different way, in a very unique way of their own. But it would take too long for me to break down what each skill ties to each attribute. So I'll make another like full video or longer video about giving a tutorial on how to make a character sheet in the first place. But the basic overview is that this is not an exhaustive list of all the skills that you can do in a game. There will be a very back and forth conversation between players and the game master throughout the game. So you'll always have time to ask, hey, can I do this thing? Can I do this different skill that's not listed on the sheet? You can also change the attribute of it. Now, that's a bit more of a custom rule that you have to kind of bring up to your game master in the moment. But for example, if you're barbarian, somebody who's like really strong and just kind of this brute, wanted to intimidate somebody, but they're not very great with their charisma skill, which is what the intimidation skill is tied to. But they wanted, they're good with strength and they wanted to still intimidate this person. You might be able to make a case to your game master, hey, I want to like punch the ground really hard, or I want to snap a weapon in half, something like that to scare my opponent. That would be a pretty good case to swap out what modifier is added to your skill check, making a charisma check that requires the the skill attribute instead of charisma check. There's a lot more that can be said about this, so I'll cover this in a much longer video where I'll have time for it. So make sure to follow, stay tuned for this for more D&D content.